It was just last August, so I was 22. Could we bring up a child financially and could we support a child emotionally and all these things? And we're like, no, we can't, and we can't give a child like the life it deserves. And then that's how we decided to have an abortion. Throughout the process of the abortion, like being quite hormonal, I'd be very up and very down. Like so many times I was like, what am I doing? Why didn't I go to England? Why didn't I have a doctor here? I think that here in the north it's because it is so tied into religion, a lot of people would consider it murder, and therefore that makes the stigma so much greater.
Suzanne illegally ordered an abortion pill online. That's because abortion is outlawed in all but exceptional circumstances here in Northern Ireland. It's the only part of the UK where the 1967 Abortion Act doesn't apply. In a warehouse in Derry, work is underway on an artistic abortion rights campaign called Walk in Her Shoes. These women are some of more than 100 people signing an open letter. They're admitting to taking, or supplying, the illegal abortion pill. Organised by campaign group Alliance for Choice, this letter will be published for a second time this month. It aims to persuade ministers to reassess the law.
So we thought that it was really important to go back to them and say, remember we published this letter? Remember we told you that women are having illegal abortions every day of the week in Northern Ireland? You still haven't taken any notice of it. Now it's quite clear that the law here is an ass. The law is nonsense because it's been broken every day of the week. And people are happy to stand up and say that we're breaking it. Therefore, it's time that you took abortion out of the criminal code in Northern Ireland, stopped treating it as a criminal issue and started to treat it like the health issue that it is and the health issue that it's treated as in Scotland and England and Wales.
Abortion law in Northern Ireland is complicated. It's heavily influenced by the country's religious culture. There's no statute governing the issue here, just case law. A lack of clarity means that, in practice, abortions are only legal when a woman's life, as opposed to her health, is at risk. Sunday morning at Belfast's St George's Market. The 1861 Act that still informs much of Northern Ireland's abortion law is 30 years older than this Victorian structure. To illegally terminate a pregnancy here, a woman can either order medicine online or travel to a private clinic in England. Over 1,000 women did this in 2011. Sociologist Veronique Altglas signed the letter. For her, it's a recognised tactic in the history of abortion rights.
It referred to something very important, and that happened in France in the 70s, where 343 women, very prominent women, such as Simone de Beauvoir, signed a manifesto to say, yes, I had an abortion. It was a major event that led, with other things, to legalizing abortion in France 2 years after.
The letter follows a year of heated debate. There have been major rallies on both sides. In the Republic of Ireland, Indian woman Savita Halipanova died after being denied a life-saving termination. Here in Belfast, the country's first private abortion clinic, Mary Stopes, opened in October.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
It pushed some pro-life ministers to try and criminalise non-NHS terminations. 250,000 people from across the religious divide signed a petition supporting the move. Every day the clinic's open, people protest outside.
Well, abortion is the taking of an innocent human life. It's wrong. It's the most barbaric attack on the most vulnerable in our society.
Pro-life groups have substantial public support here. For them, the letter's of little interest.
I think it was an act of desperation from an organisation who are grasping at straws to change the law here. There's no popular demand in Northern Ireland for the law to be changed.
The open letter is a collective admission of criminality, but none of the women who signed it have yet been contacted by the Public Prosecution Service. The question now is whether or not these women will face legal proceedings, and if so, what this means for the abortion debate here in Northern Ireland. The police service in Northern Ireland wouldn't confirm if they're investigating. It's been decades since anyone's been prosecuted with this offence, but legally, should they be?
Once the police or the prosecuting authorities find out about a potential crime, then there is obviously a duty and an obligation to investigate that. It could simply be that nothing has happened yet that anybody would know about. On the other extreme, it could be that at some level a decision has been made not to actually prosecute.
Could the origins of any such decision be political? Justice was devolved to Northern Ireland from Westminster in 2010. This means that decisions over abortions are made solely here, in the Northern Irish Assembly. Alban McGuinness is an outspoken pro-life minister. He staunchly opposes any change to current abortion law.
Do you think that the Public Prosecution Service should go ahead and prosecute?
No, I don't. I don't think they admitted to anything. That's my legal view on the matter. I think it was just simply a stunt. The law here is very plain. The law is that it is illegal to carry out abortions. However, there is a defence under the law, and that defence in many ways precludes prosecution.
But crucially, these women aren't seeking a defence. They're actually inviting prosecution. Why is it that such a vocal supporter of the current law doesn't want to see it enforced? The pro-choice movement has their theory.
No, we were fairly sure that there wouldn't be any prosecutions, mainly because we think our politicians don't want debate. And one thing that prosecuting 100 odd of us would do would be to cause a major debate.
The law is a juggling act for politicians here. Liberalising it would be a vote loser. Applying it seems equally controversial. If nothing else, the open letter raises questions over the validity of a law that's never enforced. For Northern Ireland's young women, the future of abortion law is unclear. What is clear is that the law needs addressing, and that on this issue, Northern Ireland is divided from the rest of the UK, and also from within.